Dave, welcome to my channel. So happy to have you on. It's really a pleasure. It's also great to meet you face to face finally.
Hey, Ian, thanks for having me here. And I'm super stoked to meet you.
I just read a stat on Business Insider, which I thought was interesting. 60% of millennials making over 100,000 bucks a year said they're living paycheck to paycheck. To me, this sounds like a spending problem. I'm curious to get your take, and then I want to launch into some actionable advice that people listening can take to not have a spending problem. What are your thoughts?
I think it is definitely a spending problem, but a lot of the people in our generation really want to just live in the now and not think about the future, right? And so it's really important to think about the future because the future is coming, right? Look at the 60, 65, 70-year-olds around you. Like they were your age one day, right? And they probably didn't think about them being 60, 65, or 70, right? So it's really important to think about your future, but also be able to find clever ways to enjoy the now at the same time.
Perfect segue. Let's talk about clever ways to enjoy the now, but also keep your future in mind. I think we can go back and forth. We probably have a lot of tips together. So I will give you the floor for tip number one, but let's see how many we can come up with.
Yeah, for tip number one, I like to use multi-level discounting, right? So you might be able to get discounts from the store through the typical discount that the store gives, but then using your credit card to now double dip into getting an extra level of discount.
Interesting. Give me an example where you've done that in your life.
Yeah, so I spent some time in the military. So at Home Depot or Lowe's, I would get 10% off for a military discount. And on top of that, I have a credit card that gives me 5% back at the grocery store. So what do? I know I need to spend $100 at Home Depot. So I go to the grocery store, get a gift card, Home Depot gift card for $100, get 5% back, right? On top of that, I just spent money at the grocery store. So now I get gas points. Now I get $1 off a gallon for my gas purchases. So now I just triple dipped into my single purchase from Home Depot.
That's interesting. You use the gift card route. There are apps that I was looking into an app called Flues that does that, where you can buy a gift card and they have like a whole like cashback thing. I love that. I think that's a very clever way to do it.
My wife and I actually bought a $1,500 washer and dryer set. So what I did was I ended up buying $1,500 of Lowe's gift cards from the grocery store, got 5% back, which is what, $60, $75. On top of that, I got $1 off a gallon for 6 different trips. So my wife and I,
you spent that money at the grocery store.
Yep.
Love it.
And then we have like 6,000 points, which is $1 off a gallon for 6 different trips, which is so $30 off each time. So about $180 off. Plus I got 10% off at Lowe's. So that 10% off, I ended up getting like 35% off or something like that on my overall purchase.
Well done. Well done. We'll go to the next tip. I like that. What did you call that again? You called that multi-level.
I call that the triple dip.
Triple dip.
Triple dipping.
TM. One little frugal thing that I love to do. This might have a short lifespan, but share streaming passwords. I actually, through my phone company, get Netflix for free. So I get it for free. And if Netflix is listening, don't come at me, but I share with my brothers. So we all kind of take part, and my brother has Disney Plus, so I get his. We're all kind of swapping. There's so many streaming services out there, and it's like at some point, or you don't want to pay for all of them at least. So
isn't Netflix cracking down on that now? How do you get around that?
Apparently they are. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
They're going to track IP addresses and all that stuff.
My frugal tip number 2 might be out the window, but for now, while it's still available, share your passwords, save a couple of bucks. All right,
absolutely.
What else you got?
My next tip is going to be meal planning. And so if you don't schedule your day out, your week out, and you're hungry, your tendency is going to be to leave your house, go to, the fast food restaurant that's closest to you or something. And you're going to want to get food there, which can be really expensive over time. So as long as you could use different technology like an Instant Pot, where you could put a bunch of chicken in there and cook it for 30 minutes, walk away, and now you have like 4 or 5 meals ready to go. I think planning ahead is going to be really important and save you a lot of money in the long run.
I love the Instant Pot. Shout out to the Instant Pot for like being one of the best tools in my kitchen. I actually make breakfast once a week in my Instant Pot. I have two things for breakfast. I basically have like quinoa that I make, but I make it almost like an oatmeal, and I have eggs. But the quinoa, I take 2 cups that I buy in bulk from Costco. I put that in my Instant Pot with 5 cups of water, and I put it on for pressure cook for 1 minute. And I literally have like breakfast for the whole week.
Yep. We have 2 in the house, and so we could go ham.
That's called the double dip. Next point on saving, being frugal for me is credit card spending. And now this is something I think is a little controversial because some people don't like credit cards, but if you're budgeting, and I know you and I both are, you preach this to your clients a lot. If you are budgeting and you are intentional with your spending on a credit card, I think is fantastic. So my wife and I, we got 2 kids. We're going on a trip this summer, and we paid for our flights for 4 people round trip. And I think like 2 weeks of a rental car.
Oh, wow.
Like all of that together came out to like over $3,000 fully on points.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Huge savings.
Where are you guys going?
Went up to New York. We're going to go actually going to Maryland and then New York.
Got it. Nice.
Family, friends, in all locations. It's our Northeastern tour.
That's awesome. I love it.
Ian builds wealth coming to a city. But yeah, look, credit card points can be a massive advantage if you know how to use them right. And we pretty much exclusively allocate them to travel because we love to travel. We want to go see friends. And within the last year, I had a couple funerals that I needed to attend. I paid for those flights on points. Okay. Tip number 5. I think it's 5, but go ahead.
The next tip, I do this myself, is I am the primary account holder for a family plan on my cell phone plan.
Me too.
I got 8 individuals in my family plan.
Oh,
I do not have a family of 8.
So do you have like friends on there?
I got friends from high school. I got my friends who are married, their wives are on there.
Oh, wow.
I got 8 people on.
Up.
Well, here's the thing. I used to be in the military, so I have a T-Mobile military account.
Okay.
And so great. The first line is $55. The
Yeah.
second line is $25. And the more people you add, the per line cost just goes down.
Yeah.
And right now the sweet spot is 6 to 10 people, I think. And it's $20, unlimited, international, everything. So that's after tax. And so $20 a person. So people just Venmo me $20 every month, and I'm good to go.
All right. So if you're listening, Dave's got room for 2 more slots on his
4
family
more
plan.
slots.
Oh, you have 6. Okay. He's got 4 more slots. DM him for details. Okay. One thing that I love, I've posted about this before, ways to be frugal is negotiating your bills. And I know you like this one a lot. In the world of utilities and bills, pretty much everything is negotiable. And if you are feeling friendly and nice, catch more bees or flies with honey, whatever the saying is. But if you're in a good mood and you feel like saving some money, call a provider and let them know that you've been a long-term customer, that you love working with them, but there are cheaper prices out there. You'd love to stay a customer. Can they lower your bill? Ask nicely and you will likely receive.
Absolutely. I actually just called my internet company last night and lowered my bill from $94 to $37.
Wow. That's a big decrease.
That is.
And what did you say to them that got them to say, okay?
Well, I've been with this company for 6 years and their service was a little spotty in my area. And so I used those examples as leverage to get some money back.
That's great.
So when I said I've been with them for 6 years, they looked it up and they're like, wow, that's a really long time.
Yeah.
And so they were more incentivized to treat me better.
I can go. I got some more here.
Go ahead.
Okay. I think this is like a little bit more of a holistic view, but if you are buying things, I think it's really worth thinking about cheap versus expensive. Some people who are on a budget might go out and buy something, and maybe this is something that they need, but because the price is low, they'll go for the lowest price. They'll go for that, that thing. But I think if you go for the lowest price item, you might be skimping on quality, and that can come back to hurt you if you have to replace it. For example, electronics. If you wanted some sort of camera, something like that, and you bought like a crappy cheap one, you're probably gonna have to replace it pretty quickly. I bought this like little drone helicopter for my son, and we played with it like twice. It was literally 19 bucks on Amazon. And I knew this thing was gonna break. And it broke. It broke like in like a day. Cheap is expensive because now I have to replace. I actually returned it, but still. Cheap is expensive.
I think cost per use is a really good formula to kind of figure out how, what that looks like for you. Like I bought a Lululemon shirt 6 years ago, like 80 bucks. I'm like, I am out of my mind for spending 80 bucks on a Lululemon shirt, but the form is still there. It's still intact. I've washed it so many times.
Yep.
And it lasted me longer than the $30 shirt I would have bought.
Yep.
That ends up in the trash can 6 months later.
And let me tell you something about Lululemon. If that shirt starts to wear or go bad, they will like refund you the money. They'll credit you the money. I had a shirt that I wore to the gym like a lot of times and started to smell pretty, gym-like.
Yeah.
They gave me a new one. You know why though? The shirt was like, had this like silver technology or something that was like anti-odor. And I was like, guys, this thing smells. They're like, okay, here's another one.
Yeah, I've done that before too. And they're really good at holding up their promise.
Totally. Okay, I'll give you one more thing that I did. This is when I was in law school. I had a somewhat high rent for a student. I was paying, I think, about 800 bucks a month, which for me was living on student loans, wasn't ideal. I wound up moving out. The apartment that I moved into was a little more expensive. It was, I think, 900 bucks, but I got a roommate. And so I was paying 450. So I went down. So that's my tip is if you can find roommates, rent out a room in your apartment.
House hack for sure. If you could buy a house and the right house and you could rent out your rooms, you're living for free at that point.
Magical. I think these are really great tips. I'm going to recap all of them in the show notes, and I'm also going to put timestamps so people can just click to all of them. But why don't you just let everybody know where they can find you?
And they can find me at BudgetCaptain on Instagram, and my website is also budgetcaptain.org.
Amazing. Dave, real pleasure. Great to meet you face to face.
You too. I appreciate it. All right.
Bye.